I'm Mark Wishnia with your Townsquare Media Sports Report, brought to you by Crop Production Services. Shiloh Christian, in a game heard on Super Talk 1270, picked up their second win of the season versus Kidder County in a 38-8 victory as the Skyhawks improved to 2-0. Head coach Fanon Barker.
Yeah, it was nice offensively. We were able to really execute well and really got our run game on track. I think we rushed just under 400 yards, so that was really nice to see, and that's the kind of run game you're going to need down the road.
This week, Shiloh Christian travels to Napoleon.
Very, very well-coached team, very good team, very talented team, led by Dalton Jangula. He's kind of their catalyst, throws the ball well, runs the ball extremely well. And so we're going to have to corral him and really limit his touches and his ability to get out and create plays. So if we can do that, we'll be all right.
It's another game you can hear on Super Talk 1270. Elsewhere in Bismarck, it was a big week for Legacy High School as they picked up their first ever varsity football win, beating West Fargo Cheyenne 19-7. Head coach Chris Clements.
Well, anytime you get a victory, it's going to be a nice feeling, that's for sure. I'm happy for our kids because they worked extremely hard in the offseason, and it was a great way to open our season.
This week, Legacy will travel to Devil's Lake.
I know that they have some speed. I know that they're going to be a physical team. They always are. We have to focus on what we can control and take care of our own end, and then we'll worry about the outcome after the game.
Meanwhile, Century High School kept the win streak alive for local teams, defeating Grand Forks Red River 43-14. Head coach Ron Wingenbach.
We came away with 0 turnovers, and I think we had 4 penalties. So in that respect, it was a good outing. I think found some other names that we can include on our depth chart, and we came out healthy. So with that being said, we always want to make sure we make a big improvement from week 1 to week 2, and this week certainly will be a big test.
And this week, the Patriots will host West Fargo.
They bring back 16 starters from last year, and a team that made it to the semifinals, and we had a heck of a game with them in the semifinals at West Fargo last fall. So I would venture to say that they probably had this game circled on their calendar for quite some time.
And the last school from Bismarck Public Schools, Bismarck High, beat Fargo Davies 32-13. Head coach Mark Gibson.
You know, we made a ton of mistakes, more than we're used to, but we've got a young football team. But I liked how we tackled. I liked how we played defense. I think there's a lot of improvement, obviously, but overall, I couldn't be more pleased than opener when the kids come out and play as hard as they did.
This week, Bismarck is home playing Fargo South.
We've got a heck of a challenge ahead of us. They return a lot of guys from last year, mainly their quarterback. I think at any level, when you return your quarterback, it kind of puts your leg up on the rest of the competition. That's one big key for us, is we're going to have to try to do some things to kind of slow him down a little bit.
St. Mary's also picked up a victory last Friday, defeating Fargo Shanley 18-7. Head coach Dan Smraker.
We got behind 7-0 right away, but we handled the adversity and we stood tall and just kind of kept grinding it out. But I think the physicalness and the handling adversity and the senior leadership would be the 3 things that I was very happy with, and then how well we ran the ball.
This week, St. Mary's is home versus Wahpeton.
They're very athletic. They spread the ball out offensively, a lot of one-back, a lot of throwing the ball. So it's a different kind of team we got to play this week. Wahpeton is very talented, picked to finish high. I think we're in for a good measuring stick for us.
Across the river, Mandan was unable to find much offense in a 36-0 loss to Fargo South. Head coach Todd Sheldon.
Going into the Fargo South game, we had gone in with the mindset that we're going to play a lot of kids and get some experience, and we did that. We also went in with the mindset that we want those kids to go out there and compete, and saw that we're a little bit physically overmatched in some positions.
This week, Mandan plays host to Grand Forks Red River.
Red River has a fairly good-sized offensive line, but they lost a lot of their skill position guys to graduation, and they're kind of in the same boat we are. They have good athletes, but they don't have a lot of experience on their either side of the ball for themselves either, especially in those skill position spots.
And last Saturday in the FCS college football kickoff, the Bison defeated Charleston Southern in the first ever overtime game at the Fargo Dome. Following a sluggish offensive first half from both teams, the game went to overtime, tied at 17. On the first play of overtime, NDSU running back King Frazier ran it 25 yards for the score. A defensive stop on the ensuing possession by the Bison secured the victory for North Dakota State. NDSU is off this week, but they'll resume play Saturday, September 10th versus Eastern Washington at 2:30 p.m. Meanwhile, the University of North Dakota kicks off their football season this week on Thursday night on Long Island as they take on Stony Brook at 6 p.m. And that's your Townsquare Media Sports Report, brought to you by Crop Production Services. I'm Mark Wishnia.